of my good fans out there, and to my fans in America and England. Well, more specifically, America this time, because another World Series is about to happen. The commissioner of Major League Baseball has said that there is going to be an expansion of the league. And that means there will be a major realignment of how the game is played in America and Canada too. So starting with the National League, the Giants and the Dodgers will have their own division. Considering they're in first place every single year and dominating the other National League West teams, they need to have their own division. For the new National League West would be the San Diego Padres, if not the San Antonio Padres or the Oklahoma City Padres, if they don't relocate from San Diego by then. And then the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Colorado Rockies, and in order to have another team that is geographically close without splitting up rivalries, the Brewers are moved to the National League West. Now, for the National League South, the Cincinnati Reds are there because Cincinnati is right on the border of Kentucky, and some people consider Kentucky to be in the south part of America. I don't see how that makes sense, but the Cincinnati Reds are there. Then the Miami Marlins, and then the Atlanta Braves, because Atlanta is in the south. That's where Jimmy Carter is from. That is Atlanta. So that is the South Division. They would love it. And then the East Division gets a little bit more competitive. The Philadelphia Phillies and the Pittsburgh Pirates rivalry is restored once again, and those two teams would be back in the same division. The New York Mets would be there with the Washington Nationals in the East Division. Now for the North Division, it is another three-team division, which is good. And it keeps intact the rivalry between the Chicago Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals, because that rivalry must not be broken. Respect it, Americans. And then the new Montreal Expos, considering Major League Baseball says that Montreal is the number one place for expansion. Yeah, whatever. So the new Montreal Expos are in the National League North Division because they're in Canada. So that is the National League. That is good. That is great. That is how it should be. Now moving on to the American League. Yes, the American League, Americans, and you all know that. Now starting with the North Division of the American League. Of course, the Toronto Blue Jays would be there because they are from Canada, especially Toronto, because Toronto has a huge Muslim population because Justin Trudeau has allowed so many Muslims to move to Toronto. Not that there's anything to do with this, but moving on. Next would be the Chicago White Sox, then the Minnesota Twins, and then way on the other side of the country would be the Seattle or Salt Lake City Mariners, if they are still in Seattle by then, who knows, because they're just like the Padres, they're terrible. Now moving on to the Eastern Division would be the Cleveland Indians, the Baltimore Orioles, the Detroit Tigers, and the Orlando or Tampa Bay Rays, whatever city they are in by then. Now moving on to the American League South. Yes, the South. The South with all of the people talk with that funny accent. But anyway, you have the Texas Rangers. Because of course they are from Texas. So they have to be from the South. Absolutely from the South. Then you have the Houston Astros. Why the Astros are still in the American League, I don't know. They moved over to the American League because of money, of course. It all makes sense. So, because they are in Texas too, that are even more south than the Texas Rangers, they are in the American League South. Now moving up to a little bit more to the Midwest, the land of all the soda and the Flying Jays and all that other good stuff, is the Kansas City Royals. They are a good team too. So they are in the American League South only to basically fit in with the division. Gotta put them somewhere, you know. I don't know why they did that. Now, moving on to the American League West. You have the Oakland or Las Vegas Athletics, depending on what city they are in by then, because, you know, they are obviously on the west coast of the American League. Then you have the new expansion team that is going to be reportedly in Portland, Oregon, and they are going to be called the Beavers if everything goes according to plan. So they are in the American League West. And the Los Angeles Angels. They are also in the American League West because they are in Los Angeles. And now the great division are the Yankees and the Red Sox. The two best teams in baseball history. They are better than all the other teams, so they get their own division because they go to the playoffs every year, it seems. So they have their own great division along with the Dodgers and the Giants and the National League great division because those four teams dominate. They just dominated. So the Yankees and the Red Sox have their own division. So that is the American League and the National League of what it is going to look like after the two expansion teams come in. This is what the Commissioner of Major League Baseball has even said is going to happen, and it will happen. Do you agree with this? Yes or no? Well, you might not have a choice because it's probably going to happen anyway.